is for the ones who care.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. My name is hughwizzy and you're watching 90 More, back again with breaking news as transfers are happening all over the place. Left, right and centre, we are getting news coming through about deals that are getting over the line. They are going to involve clubs such as Arsenal, Celtic, Saint Etienne, Manchester United, Crystal Palace, but we're going to start off with Brighton and Hove Albion, who have signed last season's Genk captain Leandro Trossard for 20 million euros. I think that's about 16 to 18 million pounds. They've got such an incredible record of producing players, Genk, that I think we should just have a look at that list in itself. Sold by Genk since 2011. They sold Ndidi for 15 million pounds. You can see him there holding up the Genk shirt, having just signed. Benteke for 8 million. Courtois for 7.5. De Bruyne for 7 million. Savic for 7 million. Koulibaly for 6 million. Kabasele for 6 million. And Cabano for 4 million. Soon after I'd posted that tweet, which was in December 2016, that they also let go of Leon Bailey, who obviously agreed a deal with Bayer Leverkusen, and I'm sure has another big money move in the waiting, in the offing. So Genk continuing to produce this incredible supply of top quality players who go on to the rest of European leagues. Very interesting to see whether or not Trossard really can make an impact in the Premier League.
Yeah, it was a dream last season. Like I said, it's my childhood club to become captain and win the title. It's like a dream, and it's really nice that I can reward this to get the transfer to Brighton. And like I said, I'm really happy to play for this club.
I mean, he doesn't look that happy, does he? He looks a little bit nervous. However, Brighton fans have been waiting for this news for quite some time, although the deal has been almost basically done for ages. Here he is, signing the signature on a camera. And another exciting Premier League player to look forward to seeing. We're going to move on to the biggest news of the day so far, and that is concerning this youngster here. Which one is it, do we reckon? I don't actually know. It's one of these kids here, both of whom are wearing Manchester United shirts. But this is going off the news that Manchester United have reached an agreement with Crystal Palace to sign England under-21 right-back Aaron Wan-Bissaka, a deal worth £50 million. And Wan-Bissaka is likely to be travelling to do his medical before he goes on holiday. The word is that Manchester United have offered him a long-term contract that's going to take his salary up from 10 grand a week. He's actually the lowest paid player in Crystal Palace's first team squad, up to £80,000 a week. Up to. I'm not sure whether that's including bonuses, but one of the major sticking points in terms of negotiations between Crystal Palace and Manchester United was the 25% sell-on clause that United had inserted into Wilfried Zaha's contract when they sold the winger to Crystal Palace for £6 million in 2015. And I guess that is where we bring back in David Ornstein, who is going very big with this news. And he is also saying that Crystal Palace winger Wilfried Zaha is favouring a move to Arsenal and would be up for leaving Selhurst Park this summer. Zaha is meant to be a childhood Arsenal fan, very interested in stepping up a gear from Crystal Palace. He's made it clear that he wants to play Champions League football, and I think this deal would have probably been a little bit easier to complete or get over the line. It would have been a little bit more realistic, really, had Arsenal qualified for the Champions League either by getting top four or by winning the Europa League final, neither of which obviously they did. So we find ourselves in a situation where Arsenal have around £45 million to spend if we're to believe what David Ornstein is saying and what a lot of other people have been saying as well. 40 to £45 million, unless Arsenal can raise some more cash by actually selling players. And that, I guess, is the reason why I made that Aubameyang video last time. It does look a little bit like Arsenal would be willing to part with one of their top 4 or 5 players if it meant that they could bring in a winger or two. Now, for £80 million, I think we could find 2 wingers who have a similar skill set to Wilfried Zaha, who would actually add quite a lot to the Arsenal side, who are very dependent as it stands on wing-backs and I guess the structure of the side that Unai Emery puts out. It's the reason why Kolasinac and Alex Iwobi have had statistically such good seasons in comparison, I guess, to other players at the club. So it does seem like a deal is going to be unlikely unless Arsenal can sell one of their players, saying the most realistic way of generating the required finance would be by cashing in on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, though the potential implications of parting with last season's top scorer would present a major dilemma for the Gunners. So basically that is the reason why I made the video last time. I know that Aubameyang and his agent may well be looking for a new contract, but there is some doubt as to why he took Arsenal out of his Instagram and Twitter pages and then put them back in. There's some doubt as to why he has been liking certain things on Twitter, suggesting that he is going to be sold. And there's also some doubt as to whether we should be keeping hold of a player who is 29, pushing on 30, and could bring in more money than any other player in the squad if he was sold. I reckon you're looking at a good £60 million or thereabouts. For Aubameyang's services. Another one of their assets is Uruguay midfielder Lucas Torreira, says David Ornstein, who obviously came to the Arsenal from Sampdoria last season and has done this interview where a couple of his quotes have been really kind of manipulated. It seems quite contrived to me how journalists have really gone all out to try and stress that Lucas Torreira isn't happy with the weather in London. Listen, mate, I'm from London. I'm not happy with the weather in London. The leather in London's not bad, but it seems very, very interesting to me that it's just taken that one quote, which I will try and find for you here if possible, that has meant that AC Milan are actually ready to make a bid, a 2-year loan deal and an obligation to buy for about £30 million. And I'm not going to lie, the fact that they've offered £30 million worries me because I feel like that's the kind of figure that Arsenal would contemplate accepting. It's just how the club operates. While Arsenal accept every player has a price, Ornstein continues, they have no intention of letting the 23-year-old go and do not believe he is unhappy, contrary to some reports. Now, this is beautiful to see because yesterday I tweeted out pretty much exactly the same thing, having watched the interview and realised where all this was stemming from. Very soon afterwards, we saw journalists actually confirming the fact that there was no real basis, no foundation to these links. And it was simply going off the fact that he's got to get used to the weather and it may well take some time to adapt. But of course, the links with not only his former manager returning to Sampdoria, but also Ivan Gazidis, who's obviously got some kind of connection with Arsenal still and maybe has the egg-headed audacity to actually put in this outrageous kind of bid, means that here we are. Torreira is most heavily linked with AC Milan, and although they do admire him, he is not the focus of their attention. The Rossoneri know the asking price would be prohibitive and they have other targets. Okay, so we will move on. I'm going to say from the off, Unai Emery, I'm pretty sure, will not let Lucas Torreira go. At least I really hope so, because that would be a real sign of weakness from Arsenal Football Club, especially as Lucas Torreira is something. Well, he fills a role that we have been looking to fill for quite some time. So let's move on to Arsenal's two main targets right now. These are the guys that are basically in talks and very advanced talks. Arsenal have actually had an initial opening offer of £15 million turned down for Celtic's left-back Kieran Tierney, saying, and I'll quote, this is from a Celtic source, that Arsenal's first bid is actually taking the piss. Now, he's meant to be very, very highly thought of, this kid. 22 years old. Arsenal are probably likely to increase their bid by another 3 to 5 million each time. And I guess Celtic are trying to push Arsenal as close to 25 million, which is their valuation of the player, as possible. I think this deal is going to happen. It makes sense for both parties. Although, if Arsenal do really have only 45 million to spend, to insinuate that we'd be happy to pay £25 million for a left-back alone, who can actually play at centre-back, but is primarily a left-back, seems slightly questionable. There's a lot of talk that he could have a similar impact as Andy Robertson, his Scottish counterparts, had since moving from Hull and Dundee United. He looks a great player, I'm not going to lie. Very exciting. This is probably the signing that I'm most excited about this season. That and William Saliba, the 18-year-old French centre-back from Saint-Etienne, who is so highly thought after that Arsenal may well be willing to pay up to and including 30 million euros to secure the signature, even though Saint Etienne are very keen to have him loaned back to the Ligue 1 club for one more season before he completes the move. Now, I'm not going to lie, for an 18-year-old to start for Arsenal Football Club at centre-back is a little bit worrying. We're paying a lot of money, especially when you consider that the player is going to be going back to France. I want to take you to a French journalist who's come out with this yesterday, Mohamed Bouafsi, who works for RMC Sport, and he has basically said that Arsenal have sent in their first offer of 30 million euros for William Saliba. Negotiations are taking place, even though terms have already been agreed with the player, who seems very happy with the move. That said, Tottenham Hotspurs have entered the fray, and whether that is the agent trying to push this deal forward and force Arsenal's hand or not, I don't really know, but it could well be. The essential condition for Saint Etienne, Mohamed says, is that the player is loaned back for a season to Saint Etienne and will stay in the Forêt. What I'm being told, basically, is that it is more beneficial for Arsenal to secure the services of this guy for the next 4, 5, 6 years, but lose out on the 1 year instead of throwing everything into this and wanting him now. Perhaps he does need another year in Ligue 1 to grow. Are we rushing this slightly? And should we be, therefore, looking at other centre-back options? I would suggest that the club are. There have been links to an Italian centre-back called Izzo. There have been other links that we will go into in other videos, but for now I just wanted to bring you a quick little update to tell you that Wan-Bissaka's move to Manchester United looks to be done. £50 million deal. That is an exciting signing for me, even though defensively he's a lot better than he is going forward. He is a very, very talented youngster. Is he what Manchester United needs? I guess it's a rebuilding job, isn't it? It's a different type of direction that they're going in, and homegrown players are certainly going to be going for a lot more, especially when he has got Premier League and international experience and is so highly sought over right now. Let me know your thoughts on Kieran Tierney's situation, whether you're happy with William Saliba being the option. Hope you're enjoying the videos and the regular content. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe if you're new and drop the video a damn like if you breathe oxygen. For now, though, I've been hughwizzy, and this has been a lot of fun. Peace.